My chosen one. If you're reading these words right now, it's not a coincidence. It's a divine alignment. You didn't just scroll onto this message. You were led here. The attacks you faced, the slander whispered behind your back, the strange tension that follows you into every room. They weren't signs of weakness. They were signs that you're carrying something powerful, something sacred, and that power makes you a threat to everything false. They threw fire thinking you'd burn, but you didn't. You wore it like armor, and now the fire they lit is coming back for them. Before we go any further, I want to pause and say from the deepest part of my heart, thank you to every single one of you who has shown up here with your presence. I honor you because I'm still grateful for you, your time, your energy, your spirit. That's a gift. And I don't take that lightly. If this message stirs your spirit, affirm it by commenting 44 below as a sign of your divine alignment with this truth. My chosen one. Have you ever walked into a space and felt the shift before a single word was spoken? Have you ever smiled at someone who seemed to recoil from the purity of your presence? Have you noticed how your light triggers their shadows, how your calm makes their insecurity scream, how your peace shakes up their chaos? And you ask yourself, why me? Why do people target me when all I do is mind my business? Let me tell you the truth they won't admit. It was never about what you did. It was always about who you are. You carry a vibration that can't be imitated, a strength they can't trace, a stillness that unnerves everything built on lies. You walk in rooms and unknowingly reflect back what people are trying to hide. That's why they come for you. That's why they mock you, test you, twist your words, and hope you'll break. But here's what they didn't expect. You don't break, you evolve. That means every betrayal, every lie, every attack. They're building up a spiritual tab, and the law of return. It always collects quietly, unapologetically, strategically. When you play with fire, don't cry when it burns back. You were the one they underestimated, the one they tried to isolate, the one they thought would collapse without their approval. And now you're about to watch how heaven handles enemies. Let them keep pretending you don't matter. Let them talk. Let them build kingdoms on lies. Let them celebrate too early. Because the law of return doesn't just balance the scales, it shatters illusions. And when the tables turn, and they always do, they won't just flip, they'll crash. The very fire they started, it's coming back home. And you, my chosen one, will still be standing. Stay with me, because what's coming next will shift how you see every attack you've endured, every scar, every wound, every storm. It wasn't in vain. It was recorded. And now it's your season of return. Let's get into it. And remember, only the real ones recognize this truth because only the chosen have lived it. My chosen ones. The law of return is cruel for those who attack you. They don't hate you. They hate that you cannot be shaken, even in silence. My chosen one. Pause for a moment and reflect. How many times have you walked into a room and everything shifted without you saying a word? Conversations suddenly hush. People adjust their posture. Laughter fades. The air thickens. But you've done nothing but enter. Why? Because you're not just a person stepping into that space. You're a presence, a frequency, a vibration that disrupts everything false, everything shallow, everything out of alignment. You walk in carrying truth, and truth always confronts what's been built on lies. Have you ever wondered why they look so uncomfortable around you, even when you're being kind, quiet, or completely neutral? They don't hate you because you've wronged them. They hate you because you don't wobble under pressure, because your calmness makes their chaos louder, because your steady spirit unmasks their instability. In a world where everyone is performing, pretending, and pandering for acceptance, your refusal to shrink down to fit their comfort zones becomes a silent rebellion. You are not playing the game they know. You don't chase approval, and you don't break under judgment. You are the one who stays centered while they spiral. You didn't collapse under the weight of opinions. You stood tall even in silence. That's why they're uneasy. That's why they whisper. That's why you become a target, not because you're loud, but because you're solid. Think of how a strong tree stands firm in a storm, its roots digging deeper while the winds howl around it. You carry a kind of strength that cannot be performed. It can only be felt. People pick up on it before you speak. They sense something ancient in you, something not of this world. They might not know what it is, but they feel it in their bones and it scares them. You are not cold. You are clear. You are not distant. You are discerning. You are not too much. You are untamed by their need for control. You don't need to argue to shine. You don't need to explain yourself to stand. You simply are. And that being becomes unbearable for people who are faking theirs. When you're real in a world addicted to illusion, you become the threat. Not because you attack, but because your authenticity is a mirror, and mirrors make liars squirm. Imagine a quiet stream that reflects the sky perfectly, showing everything as it truly is, without distortion or judgment. That's the essence you bring, and it unsettles those who fear their own reflection. Think of how a lighthouse stands alone on a rocky shore, guiding ships through the night without ever moving from its place. It doesn't chase the waves or fight the darkness. It simply shines steadily, and the storms respect its unwavering light. And so they try to shrink you. They mock your peace. They call your distance arrogance. They whisper lies to others hoping to wound your image. Why? Because deep down they know they can't reach where you are spiritually, so they try to bring you down emotionally. But here's the truth. You're not fragile. You're fortified. The law of return is already in motion. Every word spoken against you in envy, every scheme, every attempt to assassinate your character, none of it disappears. It circulates. It multiplies, it makes its way back, and when it does, it doesn't knock, it invades. The law of return doesn't miss. Consider how a boomerang, thrown with force, always curves back to its origin, no matter how far it flies. That's the certainty of this law, effortless, inevitable, and precise in its path. If this truth resonates with your spirit, declare it by commenting 777 below as a testament to your unshakable strength. So when you notice the tension rise as you enter a room, don't question your presence, own it. When people go quiet or shift away from you, don't shrink to fit in. Stand even taller. The energy they throw at you isn't destroying you, it's revealing you. You are exposing their pretenses without effort. You are that light. You don't need to yell to be noticed. You don't need to fight to be felt. You just need to keep walking in your purpose, and the darkness around you will scatter. Let them throw their shade. Let them whisper. Let them scheme. because while they exhaust themselves with games, you are aligning with destiny. Their insults are only watering the soil where your blessings will bloom. Their attempts to dim you only sharpen your brilliance. They came for your silence, thinking it was emptiness. But what they didn't realize is that your silence was never absence. It was power under divine management. And when the return hits, and it will, it won't come as punishment. It'll come as proof. Proof that the energy they sowed in hate is now a harvest they must reap. So keep walking, keep shining, keep being, because the most powerful moves aren't made with noise, they're made in alignment. Let me leave you with this question. What if your stillness is heaven's megaphone? What if your silence is the trumpet sound that signals the fall of every wall meant to block your purpose? This is your confirmation. My chosen one. You are the proof. You are the prophecy. You are the return. Your struggles aren't random. They are the proof of uncopyable power. My chosen one. How often have you looked at your life and wondered, why is my path filled with so many storms? Why does it feel like you're fighting invisible wars while others seem to walk through life untouched? Let's make one thing very clear. Your struggles are not coincidences. They are sacred assignments. You weren't chosen to glide. You were chosen to grow. The storms you've endured weren't punishments. They were initiations. Because you carry something too potent to be handed out casually. You carry a divine blueprint coded with purpose, pain, and power that no one else can replicate. Your trials have been tailored. Your heartbreaks weren't wasted. Your sleepless nights weren't meaningless. They were all designed to purify the gold within you. You see, there are people who want your light, but not your path. They want your power, but not your pressure. They want your fruit, but they don't want your soil, your tilling, your storms. And so they imitate the outer image, but they cannot carry the internal fire. Picture a diamond, formed under immense pressure deep in the earth, emerging brilliant and unbreakable, after enduring what would crush ordinary stones. That's your journey, refined through trials that shape your unique radiance, that glow people envy in you. It wasn't gifted, it was mined in darkness. It came through lonely seasons, false friendships, and moments when even you doubted your own strength. But through all of that, you never folded. That's how we know you're chosen. So when people mimic your style or echo your words, let them. What they're copying is surface. They don't have access to your depths. They can't imitate your resilience. They don't know the price you paid to smile with peace. They don't know that your calm was carved from chaos. Imagine forging a sword in a blacksmith's fire, hammering it through heat and strikes until it's sharp and resilient. Your spirit has been shaped similarly, gaining an edge that others admire but couldn't endure creating. The law of return, my chosen one, is already in motion. Those who try to harm you, block you, shame you, don't need your clapback. They need time, because return is never late. It's surgical. It works in silence but hits with precision. You don't need to retaliate, you just need to rise. Let the return do what it was designed to do. If you feel this truth awakening your purpose, affirm it by commenting, "My soul is ready," below. Your storms created a frequency that can't be duplicated. That's why you feel guarded. That's why you're cautious with your space. Because people who bleed to build their foundation don't let anyone walk in with muddy feet. And that guardedness, It's not coldness, it's clarity. You've seen what happens when you let the wrong energy close. You've watched betrayal sit in silence, fake support wear smiles, and envy applaud when you're down. So now you protect the throne I gave you, because what you carry isn't just for today, it's generational. What broke others built you. What was sent to crush you carved you. Envision a sculptor chiseling away at marble, removing what doesn't belong to reveal a masterpiece hidden within. Your challenges have been that chisel, unveiling the strength and beauty I placed in you from the beginning. The people who tried to bury you didn't realize they were planting something eternal, something that now speaks without effort. That's the power of chosen ones. Your struggle is never wasted. It's recycled, refined, redeployed. So when people ask, "Why are you so distant? Why don't you let everyone in?" Let them wonder. Because what you carry is not for common exposure, it's for divine assignment. And only those aligned with your mission are allowed into your atmosphere. What was once your breaking point has now become your boundary line. My chosen one, your story is sacred. Your struggle was designed. Your strength is not random, it's revelation. And those who tried to curse what I refined are about to learn a hard truth. You cannot damage what has already been fortified through fire. The return is not just revenge, it's divine recalibration. What if your pain wasn't a detour, but the very map to your destiny? What if your tears were the ink I used to write your elevation? This is the power of being chosen. Your suffering wasn't in vain. Your survival was the prophecy. And now comes the return. Your silence isn't weakness. It's the earthquake before the return. My chosen one. How many times have you stayed quiet? Not because you had nothing to say, but because you knew that silence was the loudest move you could make. Have you noticed how the atmosphere shifts when you withdraw your energy, your words, your attention? That isn't coincidence. That's divine tension. Your silence isn't empty. It's charged. It's prophetic. And whether your enemies admit it or not, they feel the tremble in the spirit before anything even happens in the natural. They thought your silence meant surrender. That by not responding, you had lost. But the truth is, you chose power over performance. Your silence is not weakness. It is precision. Stillness is strategy. What they mistook for defeat was actually the recalibration of your spirit, the tightening of your focus, and the buildup of a wave they cannot outrun. Let's be clear, you no longer owe anyone explanations. You're not here to prove your value to those who pretend they can't see it. When you stopped talking, they started trembling. And why? Because without your responses to feed off, they lost their control. Without your reactions, their manipulation fell flat. You mastered what most never will, the ability to move without being seen, to shift without making noise. Consider how a seed lies quietly in the soil, unseen and still, gathering strength before it breaks through the earth to grow tall. Your silence has been that seed, nurturing growth in hidden ways that will soon become evident to all. There's something deeply unsettling to your enemies when they realize they can't provoke you anymore, that their words no longer bait you, that their gossip no longer distracts you. You've unplugged from the cycle, you've removed the fuel, and without your energy to feed on, their narratives collapse. And here's where the law of return begins to flow in full force. The very lies they spun, the chaos they stirred, the traps they set. Now they're the ones walking into it, not because you fought back, but because you didn't have to. The silence you've chosen has made space for my justice to move in ways your words never could. And when that justice lands, it won't need to explain itself. It'll be undeniable, irrefutable, unstoppable. Picture a mountain standing unmoved through centuries of winds and rains, its quiet presence commanding respect without a single tremor until the earth itself shifts. Your stillness carries that same enduring power, building toward a revelation that changes everything. So, my chosen one, don't let anyone mistake your quiet for weakness. Don't let their noise tempt you back into battles you've already won. Keep your peace. Keep your focus. The real shift, the divine return, is already in motion. And while they throw their last parties in delusion, they don't realize the lights are about to go out. What if your silence is the countdown to the very breakthrough they tried to delay? What if the absence of your voice is heaven's way of making room for justice to speak, hold the line, my chosen one? The silence is not empty, it's loaded. And when it breaks, it'll be more than a sound, it'll be a shift, one they never saw coming. If this silence speaks to your heart, comment 222 below to affirm your quiet strength. You're not breaking down. You're being upgraded in a way they will never understand. My chosen one. Have you ever felt like everything was collapsing at once, that everything familiar was slipping through your fingers, while no one, not even those closest to you, truly understood the war raging within? It's not that you gave up. It's that something deep inside you began shifting. The problem is those watching from the outside misread the signs. They mistook your stillness for surrender, your absence for failure, your silence for collapse. But what they didn't realize is this. You weren't breaking down. You were being upgraded quietly, profoundly, irreversibly. They saw you withdrawing. They saw you stop posting, stop talking, stop entertaining their noise. And in their small minds, they interpreted that as defeat. But chosen ones don't unravel like the rest. We transform under pressure. We shed layers like old skin. And while they were rejoicing, thinking they'd won, you were in the sacred space of rebirth, because every chosen one knows. Before resurrection comes silence. Before promotion comes isolation. Before elevation comes misunderstanding. The process is never pretty, but it is divine. What looks like chaos is actually coordination from above. I am not finished with you. I'm upgrading you for what they're not qualified to comprehend. They thought you were falling apart, but really, heaven was putting you back together stronger, wiser, more anointed. The parts of you that felt shattered were just outdated systems being removed so your next level could run smoother, cleaner, and with supernatural efficiency. Imagine a computer system rebooting, clearing old files and installing updates to run faster and more efficiently than before. Your spirit undergoes a similar process, emerging optimized for greater purposes. That's what's happening now. Transformation. And that transformation, it never makes noise while it's happening. The cocoon is quiet. The chrysalis is still. But when the butterfly emerges, the whole world notices. So let them whisper, let them guess, let them misinterpret your silence, because soon they won't even recognize you. The version of you that they tried to break has already expired. The return. It's not coming with a post. It's not coming with a rant. It's coming with undeniable results, fruit, glory, fire. Your storm is doing for you what it must, building something they'll never be able to tear down again. And let's talk about what they really feared. It wasn't your pain. It was your recovery. It wasn't your silence. It was what your silence was creating. See? My chosen one. You're not just surviving. You're reinventing. You're downloading spiritual tools that your enemies won't recognize until it's too late. While they stayed stagnant, trapped in the same low vibrational loops you went within and came back renewed. That restoration is already happening, and restoration doesn't just bring you back. It levels you up. You were never breaking down. You were breaking through their expectations, through their illusions, through the limits they tried to place on you. They were watching your pruning season and laughing, but now they're about to witness your blooming season and choking on their own pride. Think of a rose bush being pruned in winter, seeming bare and lifeless, only to burst forth with vibrant blooms in spring, stronger and more abundant. Your quiet seasons are that pruning, leading to a flourishing that's impossible to ignore. That's divine comeback. That's law of return. And that's what's working in your favor right now, because the law of return doesn't ask for your participation. It works in alignment with spiritual justice. Every mockery, every betrayal, every time they used your silence as entertainment, it's coming back. But this time, not as pain. This time it returns as elevation, as vindication, as unstoppable forward movement. And when your table is ready, they won't be able to digest what's served. So, my chosen one, the next time you feel the pressure rising, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask instead, "What am I being prepared for?" Because this pressure isn't a punishment, it's proof. Proof that your capacity is expanding. Proof that I trust you with weight others couldn't carry for a day. Proof that you're not common and therefore your process will never be ordinary. What if your breakdown was a setup for the version of you that will never again fit into their projections? What if the silence wasn't a pause, but a countdown? Stay quiet, stay focused, stay dangerous. You're not done evolving, but they're not done regretting ever trying to break what I was building. If this transformation stirs your spirit, comment, "I am rising below to claim it." The real revenge, peace, so loud it drowns out their chaos. My chosen one. Have you ever noticed the look in their eyes when you didn't react the way they hoped? When they provoked you with lies, betrayal, or subtle sabotage? But you didn't flinch, you didn't retaliate, scream, or spiral. Instead, you got quiet, you got intentional, you started healing. And that silence, that unshakable stillness became the loudest noise in the room. It shook them more than your anger ever could, because your peace, my chosen one, is not weakness, it's divine warfare. So what if your greatest revenge is the life you built in peace? What if your refusal to fight back in their chaos was actually heaven's strategy for elevation? The peace you carry now didn't come cheap. It was carved from heartbreak, betrayal, and long nights of spiritual warfare. It was forged in moments when you wanted to explode, but chose stillness instead. You didn't respond to their pettiness. You responded to a higher calling. You chose alignment over attention, and that choice, that choice is what broke their grip on your soul. They expected chaos. They planned for your meltdown. They waited for the moment you'd lose control. react wildly, confirm every twisted narrative they spun behind your back. But instead, you did something they couldn't predict. You didn't play their game. You stopped entertaining the storm and became the eye of it. Peace isn't passive. It's powerful. It takes discipline to hold your tongue when your spirit is screaming. It takes wisdom to recognize that silence is sometimes a sentence that speaks volumes. Your peace is a boundary. Your peace is a verdict. Your peace is a mirror that reflects their chaos, and they can't stand what they see. I didn't just give you peace for comfort. I gave it as a weapon, a stillness that exposes everything fake and frantic around you. While they shout, you smile. While they scatter, you center. While they strategize in darkness, you rest in light. And somehow, in that calm, you grow, you elevate, you become something they can't interpret. Envision a serene lake, its surface undisturbed even as winds rage around it, reflecting clarity while chaos swirls above. Your peace is that lake, providing refuge and truth amid turmoil. When you don't react the way they expect, you flip the script, you rob them of power, you remind them that you're not here for drama, you're here for destiny. And here's the mystery. The moment you stop defending yourself is the moment I begin fighting for you. The law of return doesn't ride in on noise. It rides in on peace. And when it arrives, it doesn't just vindicate you. It shatters their illusions. Peace isn't weak. Peace crushes. Peace is violent in the spirit realm, because peace means you've mastered yourself, you've submitted your emotions, you've dethroned your ego, and that, my dear chosen one, is spiritual power at its finest. Sometimes the strongest souls are the ones who choose silence over spectacle, who uplift others even when they themselves are at war. That's you, my chosen one. Your peace has become healing for others without them even realizing it. So let them keep shouting. Let them throw words like knives. Your peace is the shield, and every time you choose stillness, you're calling heaven into your situation. Every time you choose grace over gossip, you're activating the law of return. You don't need to say a word because your growth, your elevation, your peace, that's the proof, that's the punishment. What if the peace they mocked is the very tool I am using to dismantle their strongholds? What if your stillness is not silence, but thunder disguised? The revenge they never saw coming isn't your anger, it's your joy. It's the glow they thought you'd never get back. It's the favor they can't understand. It's the doors that keep opening despite every curse they whispered behind closed doors. It's your name being honored in rooms they'll never be invited into. So keep choosing peace. Keep choosing silence over chaos. Keep choosing elevation over ego, because the ones who tried to drag you into the mud are now watching you build in the heavens. And when you finally emerge, not with noise, not with drama, but with divine presence, they'll know, they'll feel it in their bones. You were never the one falling apart. They were. You've become the storm they didn't prepare for, a storm called stillness, a whirlwind of grace, a tsunami of unbothered favor. And that my chosen one is the kind of revenge only heaven can orchestrate. Stay silent, stay sacred, stay ready. If this peace resonates within you, comment 888 below to declare your unshakable calm. Every scar you hide is a sign you survived what would have crushed them. My chosen one. Take a deep breath. Look at yourself, not just in the mirror, but inwardly. How many storms have you walked through that no one knows about? How many nights did you sit alone, praying, breaking, bleeding internally, while still showing up the next day with grace, holding it all together for everyone else? How many scars are hidden behind your smile? How many moments of silence are filled with battles you fought in the dark that calm people admire today? It was bought with fire. That strength they compliment. It's not natural. It's earned. They look at you now and assume it's always been this way. But they don't know the full story. They don't see the heartbreak you buried just to keep functioning. They weren't there when betrayal left you gasping for air. They didn't see the way you held space for people who never checked on you. How you kept loving even when it nearly killed you. You were made to carry pain with dignity, not because it was fair, but because you were chosen. And what you carry is proof that you are not ordinary. That grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, embrace your journey gladly, so that divine power may rest on you. That encouragement isn't about pretending everything is okay. It's about owning your journey, the pain, the scars, the process, and realizing that I was perfecting power in you when you were at your lowest. The very places where you cracked open, that's where light got in. What if your scars are the sermon someone else needs to hear, but you've been hiding them to protect people who wouldn't have survived a tenth of your path? Envision an ancient warrior marked by battles won, where each scar tells a story of endurance and victory, inspiring others to press on. Your marks are similar, badges of resilience that motivate those around you. But what fueled your strength? Not applause, not ease. It was the pain, the scars, the breakdowns that shaped you into who you are. People assume your peace is natural. They don't realize it was born from sleepless nights, betrayal by blood, spiritual warfare, and showing up when your heart was in pieces. You remember, don't you? You remember who didn't call when your world fell apart. You remember who clapped quietly when you stumbled. And yet you forgave. You chose healing. You chose stillness. That's what makes you different. They can't comprehend why you don't flinch anymore, why your silence feels so loud. It's because it's filled with memories, not regrets, reminders. You're not bitter. You're built. Your scars are not weakness. They are testimonies. Proof that you were attacked and still got up. That you were abandoned but not destroyed. That you were misunderstood but not moved. Your physical or emotional scars weren't hidden. They became your power. Your comeback became a symbol of what happens when you walk through the fire and refuse to smell like smoke. That's what you've done. You didn't just heal. You inspired transformation in others without even knowing it. My chosen one. There's something holy about scars. They tell the truth when words fail. They speak when you remain silent. They whisper strength in rooms where people tried to silence your worth. And while they were laughing, while they were throwing stones and setting traps, you were evolving quietly, unapologetically. You weren't spared the fire. You were sustained in it. You didn't skip the pain. You mastered it. And while others would have drowned, you learned how to breathe underwater. You took time off, went into silence, and people assumed you were done. What they didn't know was that you were healing, you were rebuilding, you were rising again, and when you reappeared, you didn't just continue, you testified, you became an advocate for mental health, emotional clarity, and spiritual growth. The scars the world laughed at, they became your platform. That's the law of return. If this truth of your scars speaks to you, comment, "I am victorious," below to honor your resilience. And let's not forget, your scars were never for public approval. You didn't survive to be liked. You survived to lead. You survived to carry a frequency others couldn't imitate if they tried. You didn't go through hell just to remain silent. You were refined for moments where your presence alone is a disruption to darkness. So when they stare and wonder, "How did you get here?" let them. Because if they knew the price you paid, they'd tremble. If they saw the nights you held your own heart together, they'd go silent. If they saw what you lost and still kept walking with grace, they'd realize they were never qualified to speak your name in judgment. This doesn't mean the weapons won't form. It means they won't win. They may scar you, but they will not stop you. Because you, my chosen one, were built to be unbreakable. Not by birth, but by battle. Imagine a phoenix rising from ashes, renewed and more powerful after being consumed by flames. Your scars mark that rebirth, turning trials into triumphs that others can only admire from afar. That's what you're building. You don't need applause. You're building an atmosphere, a truth, a vibration that shakes rooms just by walking in. You didn't retaliate when they mocked you. You didn't expose them when they betrayed you. You didn't break when they tried to shatter your spirit. That's why the law of return is now active, not as punishment, but as balance. The universe never forgets an injustice that heaven intends to correct. And here's the best part. The return doesn't knock. It moves silently, suddenly. It realigns timelines. It reverses curses. It brings clarity, not chaos. And those who once danced in your downfall, they'll be the first to witness your rise. Not because you seek revenge, but because peace is your platform now. What if your scars weren't meant to be hidden? What if they're divine reminders that you've already overcome everything they're trying to use against you? The next time you see your reflection, don't just look for beauty, look for evidence. Look at the proof that you didn't fold, that you rose, that you became, that you survived what others would have used as an excuse to stop living. You don't just wear scars, you wear victories. And when they come back around acting like they didn't watch you suffer, acting like they always believed in you, don't waste time correcting them. Let your silence speak. Let your success speak. Let your scars speak. Because you, my chosen one, didn't just survive the storm. You became it. You became the one they couldn't break, the one they couldn't label, the one they couldn't replace. So stand tall, not because you're perfect, but because you're living proof that pain produces power. And when the law of return comes back around, and it will, they'll know exactly why they should have never underestimated the one who survived with grace. You were never the victim. You were the vessel. And your scars, they are your crown. The tables always turn, and when they do, you'll be untouchable. My chosen one, there is a divine law written into the fabric of the universe. Every seed planted must produce a harvest. Every intention, every word, every secret action has a trajectory. And you, more than anyone, have lived long enough to see both the blessing and the burden of that truth. They thought you were stuck. They thought you were broken, irrelevant, silenced. But the tables always turn. And when they do, they don't just shift politely, they flip with force. And everything they built on lies, envy, and manipulation shatters. Why? Because they didn't realize they were trying to play games with someone who was building a kingdom. Have you ever been so still, so silent that people assumed you were out of the game? But in reality, you were just sharpening your sword. I never forgot what you endured. I never overlooked the slander, the sabotage, the nights you cried silently because you chose dignity over drama. And while they were throwing shade, I was tracking everything, every move, every lie, every whisper. I saw it all. And now the season of correction is coming, quietly, but powerfully. You were their target when you were still. They mistook your silence for weakness, your delay for defeat. But what they didn't understand is that silence doesn't mean surrender. It means strategy. You were pausing to gather, to heal, to prepare. While they were laughing, you were learning. While they were mocking, you were maturing. And now, as the spiritual climate shifts, the law of return is about to announce what you never had to say for yourself. It's your harvest season, and the tables aren't just turning. They're being reset with your name at the head. You're not behind. You're being positioned, my chosen one. You don't have to fight dirty. You don't have to clap back. You don't have to explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you because their karma doesn't wait for applause. It moves in silence, just like your elevation. They didn't account for your resilience. They assumed the delay would discourage you, but you turned it into discipline. They threw stones, thinking you'd fold, but instead you gathered those stones and built an altar, a platform, a legacy. While they stayed stuck in cycles of comparison and games, you ascended spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And now that your name is being mentioned in places they tried to block you from, they're realizing the truth. The one they tried to bury became the root of something unshakable. Think of a river carving through rock over time, patient and persistent, reshaping the landscape without haste. Your journey mirrors that flow, turning obstacles into pathways that lead to greater heights. That's what you're doing, my chosen one. Not just participating, redefining, rewriting the rules they use to measure you by. So let them keep talking. Let them keep pretending you're not a threat. Because soon they won't even recognize the version of you that's emerging. Not because you've become someone else, but because you've become more of who you really are. And by the time they realize it, the door they tried to close on you will be locked from the inside, with you on the other side. If this truth of your elevation moves you, comment 9. 9 below to claim your divine positioning. This isn't about revenge. This is about restoration. This is about honoring what was mocked, elevating what was hidden, and amplifying what was silenced. And make no mistake, when the tables turn, they won't just hear about it. They'll see it, they'll feel it, and they'll regret ever betting against someone covered by divine strategy. You weren't playing checkers, you were playing chess, quietly, intelligently. Every moment you held your tongue when you had the evidence, every time you forgave, when you could have exposed, every seed of self-control you planted, it's about to multiply. And not just for your good, but for their instruction. Because the law of return isn't just about blessing the chosen. It's about teaching those who mistreated them that heaven has a memory, and it settles scores without asking for permission. You're not just going to win, you're going to set the standard. So, my chosen one, when you see their towers fall, don't feel guilty. You didn't wish it. You didn't force it. You just stayed faithful. You didn't chase approval. You chased alignment. You stayed planted when they wanted you reactive. You stayed growing when they wanted you gone. And now the fruit of that focus is undeniable. What if the reason I kept you silent for so long was because your life would speak louder than any defense you could ever offer? So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. You need to persevere so that when you have done my will, you will receive what I have promised. You didn't lose time. You were being refined. You didn't miss your moment. You were being protected from counterfeit opportunities. And now that it's your season, everything that was delayed is being delivered right on time. Don't flinch. Don't apologize. Don't shrink. When the blessings begin to pour in, blessings they swore you'd never reach, receive them fully because you didn't skip the fire. You didn't skip the betrayal. You endured it all with grace, and grace is now your portion. You're not being elevated for revenge. You're being elevated for impact so that others who were mocked, broken, and doubted can see that it's possible to rise again. That silence can be sacred. That stillness is strength. The chosen ones never need to force what I already promised. So let the tables turn, let the wind shift, let the light hit what was once hidden, because by the time the return finishes its cycle, you'll be too elevated to even hear the crash. You'll be seated at the table they thought they could block. You'll be living in a peace they can't disrupt, and your silence, your patience, your obedience, that will be the sound that drowns out their noise forever. You're not just walking into a comeback, you're walking into a coronation. Stay ready. My chosen one, the return has already begun. Beloved, my chosen one. If your spirit stirred while reading this message, that's not coincidence. It's confirmation. You didn't just stumble across these words. You were led here by divine design. Every sentence that resonated within you, every truth that pierced your silence, was meant for you and only you. This wasn't just a message, it was a mirror, a reflection of your journey, your pain, your survival, and your inevitable rise. The law of return is not folklore. It's a spiritual principle backed by divine justice. And now, whether you feel it yet or not, the energy is shifting in your favor. You've endured quietly. You've survived what others wouldn't even dare speak of. And the world misread your silence as surrender. They couldn't see that in those quiet nights. Heaven was recalibrating your soul, that while others chased attention, you chose alignment. While they posted, you prayed. While they plotted, you prepared. You didn't waste your pain. You absorbed it, transformed it, used it as fuel. And now the tables are turning, not gradually, but unmistakably. You were never buried. You were planted. And now what's been growing in silence is about to bloom in full view. Let me take a moment now from the depths of my heart to simply say, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing your spirit to be open enough to receive this. Whether this is your first time engaging with these messages, or you've been walking this journey with us for a while, know this: you are seen, you are valued, you are honored. You showing up matters. This space wouldn't carry the power it does without souls like yours walking alongside it. If this message touched your heart, encouraged you, or helped you remember your power, I invite you, only if you feel led to share this message with someone else. Maybe it's a friend, a sibling, a colleague, or even someone who hurt you, someone who needs to understand what a real return looks like. Someone out there is one reminder away from not giving up. Be that reminder. Help bring them back to themselves. Let them know that their silence doesn't mean they've failed. It means they're being fortified. And before we part, I want to release a blessing over your life, not as tradition, but as a transmission of truth and love. May your scars remind you not of what hurt you, but of what healed you. May your enemies become your footstool, not by your hand, but by divine return. May peace walk ahead of you into every room, and favor flood the doors they once tried to close. May your next chapter silence every lie spoken in your last. May you rise without noise, without needing to prove, without needing to explain, because your life will speak louder than any defense ever could. My chosen one. This isn't just a spiritual awakening. It's a sacred unveiling. You are the one they counted out, the one they tried to erase, the one they whispered about in rooms you weren't invited to. And now heaven is writing your name on the doors they never wanted you to see. You didn't chase revenge. You became redemption. You didn't fight fire with fire. You let me handle the flame. And because of that, your return is not temporary. It's eternal. So go forward with your head high, your spirit calm, and your heart open. The law of return has already begun. It's moving in silence. And when it finishes what it started, you'll be so elevated, so peaceful, so untouchable. They won't even recognize the version of you who emerges. Walk in truth. Walk in light. Walk like the prophecy you are. And always remember, beloved, you are the return. Amen. If this final blessing moves your heart, comment, Lord, I am here below to seal this truth in your spirit. The law of return has already begun its work. Every word spoken against you, every scheme formed to break you, is circling back upon those who launched it. They thought they could strike without consequence, but heaven is never mocked. What was sent out against you is returning multiplied, not because you sought revenge, but because justice flows from my throne. And while they taste the bitterness of what they planted, I have reserved something different for you, for my chosen ones. This season is not about destruction, but about movement. I am not leaving you where the wounds were made, nor will I allow you to remain in a place that does not recognize who you are. I am shifting you into a land that matches your spirit, a place where the atmosphere aligns with the calling I placed inside you, where others collapse under the weight of the return. You will rise into the inheritance prepared for you. What was cruel for your enemies will be merciful for you, because my hand makes the difference. Can you feel it? My chosen one, that subtle ache in your soul, that sacred pull drawing you away from all you once knew. You may lie awake at night, wondering why everything feels heavy, why a once comfortable space now feels like a cage. Know this, you're not confused or lost. You're feeling my confirmation that you've outgrown the place you once called home. This isn't mere discomfort. It's spiritual friction, the tension between who you were and who I've called you to be. Your spirit has grown beyond this space's limits. Through silent sacrifices, tearful prayers, and unseen battles, I've shaped you into someone greater than this environment can hold. There was a time when this place matched your dreams and faith. You belonged, but that season has ended. I've stretched, refined, and purified you. Those nights you wept alone, feeling misunderstood, or stayed obedient without applause were not wasted. They were my shaping rooms, forging a strength this land can no longer contain. Like a seed outgrowing its pot, your roots press against the walls, craving deeper soil. The tightness you feel isn't rebellion. It's my revelation, signaling it's time to move. This place nurtured your roots, but it cannot sustain your branches reaching for my heavens. Sometimes, I let the soil dry up, not to curse you, but to call you forward. Your spirit burns with a fire this environment can no longer hold, like a caterpillar in a cocoon. The confinement you feel is preparation for wings you're about to unfurl. Are you shrinking your vision to fit old spaces? The place you cling to isn't rejecting you, it's releasing you. Your anointing has outgrown its boundaries. Staying will suffocate your calling and silence your authority. You were made for more, not fleeting praise, but lasting impact and divine legacy. I'm calling you out of shallow waters into the depths of your purpose, from surviving to ruling. Don't resist the discomfort or mourn what I'm removing. This isn't loss, it's pruning for greater fruit. Like a tree in winter, you're being prepared for a vibrant spring. Will you trade comfort for my calling? Your old land cannot hold your new spirit. It no longer nourishes your next level. This is my sacred confirmation of your spiritual promotion. Release the tent. Your temple awaits. Trust me enough to step into the unknown, knowing I will sustain you. This new land is your spiritual greenhouse, your legacy's laboratory. Let your vision expand, your faith stretch beyond comfort. The old land did its job. Now step into the land that matches your spirit. This move isn't about a new address or title. It's about alignment, a divine convergence of your spirit, gifts, and purpose with my plan. Have you wondered why doors shut suddenly? Why your heart feels restless in familiar places? Your calling has grown too vast for environments that once excited you. They haven't turned against you. They're simply too small for your destiny's weight. I'm not giving you a mere change of scenery, but a new spiritual ecosystem where the air matches your anointing, where people understand your fire, and your gifts are honored as my instruments. Like a river finding its true course, you'll flow effortlessly once aligned with my path. Have you felt drained in rooms that tolerate but don't celebrate you? In this move, you'll step into spaces where your oil isn't wasted, where your fire isn't reduced to entertainment but revered. You've carried heavy revelations in silence, obeyed without applause, endured dishonor without retaliation. Now, I'm closing that chapter, aligning you with places that match your maturity. Like a warrior shedding ill-fitting armor, you're stepping into a space tailored to your strength. Are you still wearing others' expectations to stay accepted? This new land is where your gifting, growth, and grace flow in harmony. Your vision won't be diminished. Your fire won't need to shrink. In this new land, the spiritual soil will respond to your presence. What once felt like heavy lifting will flow effortlessly, not because life is easier, but because you're aligned with my design. Like a star finding its constellation, your place will amplify your light. You won't need to strive to be seen or exhaust yourself explaining your call. You're not just changing places, you're shifting positions in the Spirit. When I move you, no one can shut the doors I open, and no one can question the favor I place upon you. This isn't about location, it's about alignment, and you, my chosen one, are right on time. Have you wondered why certain doors refused to open? Why some rooms felt heavy despite your light? Why relationships or places couldn't hold your fullness? It was never about your effort or worth. It was about my design. Before you took your first breath, I crafted a territory that matches your spiritual frequency. This move isn't sudden or random. It's the unfolding of my blueprint, written before time began. Can you feel the weight of this moment? Generations have prayed for this exact season in your life. This new land isn't for mere survival. You're not meant to just exist. You'll thrive, lead others from darkness, and build legacies that echo into eternity. It flows with resources that recognize your responsibility and authority. Like a garden prepared for a specific seed, this land has been waiting for you. The connections awaiting you won't demand you compromise your integrity. Opportunities won't require you to dilute your faith. You won't need to explain your fire to those who only understand lukewarm. This land won't resist your spirit. It will resonate deeply. Those suffocating seasons, when you felt misunderstood even by those closest to you, weren't punishment. They were my preparation, protecting your anointing from spaces that couldn't honor it. The frustration, isolation, and feeling of being too much or not enough were signposts, guiding you to this moment. You hadn't reached your true land yet. Other places couldn't hold you because they weren't built for your capacity. But this new land has your spiritual essence woven into its soil. You won't need to force open gates, beg for acceptance, or perform to belong. This land wasn't waiting for a crowd. It was waiting for you. Your presence will activate its blessings. The ground will recognize you. The air will carry your worship. Creation itself awaits your arrival to come alive in purpose. You're not stumbling into random blessings. You're stepping into what I ordained before time. This is fulfillment, not a surprise reward. The land has matured in the spirit as you matured in your wilderness. Now, the timing is ripe. The doors are open. The old season has ended. My voice thunders in your spirit. Go forward. Your land is ready. Don't second-guess your right to occupy this space or drag past rejections into this divine territory. You were always meant to be here. Your prayers will water this land. Your declarations will seed its harvests. Your obedience will multiply its blessings. This is a spiritual planting, not just a move. Do you perceive the shift in the air? The promise is alive. And the time is now. This land longs for your unique flame, your divine assignment. Your presence will unlock doors no one else can open, activating destinies around you. Are you ready to stop circling deserts and step into your inheritance? If you sense this truth, comment 222 below. The question isn't whether the land is ready. It's whether you're ready for the land. The path is cleared. The heavens are watching. The promise pulses with anticipation. Walk with boldness, with authority. Knowing every step confirms my alignment for you. This is your land, your moment, your legacy. It begins the moment you step forward without fear or apology. Take a deep breath, my chosen one, and let this truth flood your spirit. You're not moving into this space by chance. I've positioned you with precise timing for sacred connections. Have you felt unseen, misunderstood, or misplaced in past seasons? You weren't meant to bloom there because the people to nurture your growth weren't present. This move isn't just for your breakthrough. It's for alignment with those I've prepared to receive what you carry. You're not stepping into a barren wilderness, but a land pregnant with purpose. The moment your feet touch this territory, destinies will awaken like seeds receiving rain after a drought. Your steps are not random, they're meticulously ordered. Relationships await in the shadows, poised for your arrival. Partnerships pause for your obedience to unlock them. There are souls crying out for answers. Unaware, your presence holds my solution to their silent prayers. Your arrival will ignite dreams dormant in others. Your presence carries power. You won't need to scream to be seen or force your light to shine. Your authenticity will be celebrated, not criticized. Your obedience is your introduction, for I am orchestrating these connections. In your old land, your fire was too intense, your vision a threat, your ideas too deep, your presence unsettled others. Not because you were wrong, but because you were planted in soil that couldn't sustain you. Have you questioned if you were too much? You were never too much. Their capacity was too small. I appointed you for fruitfulness, but fruitfulness needs the right soil and gardeners. In this land, your presence won't repel. It will activate. Your ideas will resonate. Your maturity will meet others on your frequency. Your fire will light torches in others, igniting a movement beyond what you could plan. This isn't about popularity or applause. It's about my purpose. You're stepping into a divine ecosystem I've crafted to multiply your anointing, expand your impact, and deepen your legacy. Your creativity will find collaboration, your insights protection, your hunger a nurturing community, your leadership support. Your heart will find rest, not from hiding, but from belonging. These are covenant connections, not fleeting friendships, designed to carry weight and share destiny. You've carried burdens alone too long. In this land, I provide a circle to share the load, not because it's smaller, but because it's shared with those I've assigned. Burden sharing is the culture here. Don't be surprised when the right people appear, when doors open to covenant relationships, when conversations confirm what you carried quietly. This is the fruit of spiritual relocation. If your spirit agrees, comment, "Lord, I'm here," below, my chosen one. Listen with every fiber of your spirit. Have you noticed how chaos seems to erupt as you near a breakthrough? The sudden heaviness, unexplainable fatigue, or swirling confusion isn't your imagination. It's targeted resistance, a desperate attempt to keep you bound to a place you've outgrown. Before every divine relocation, a spiritual battle rages. As I elevate you into new land, authority, and assignments, darkness launches a fierce assault. Why? Because your obedience is about to trigger a ripple effect in the spirit realm. The enemy senses your destiny's weight even when others don't. Have you noticed intensifying warfare, unsettling dreams, shifting relationships, delays, or old doubts resurfacing? This isn't to stop your move, but to delay your response, to entangle you in fear so you hesitate at the threshold of my promise. Like a seed pushing through dark soil, the struggle precedes the sprouting. Your battles signal you're on the edge of your purpose, your new land. This warfare isn't punishment. It's proof that your land is real. The shift is happening, and my promises are manifesting. You're not attacked because you're weak. You're dangerous to darkness. You carry a key to unlock chains, a voice to silence strongholds. Your assignment isn't just for you, but for the multitude awaiting your obedience. You haven't lost your way. You're in divine transition. Transitions feel messy before they shine in glory, like a mother in labor. The pressure intensifies before the birth. This is the final stretch, intense, uncertain, as if the ground shakes beneath you. But you're crossing into territory where old patterns cannot follow, demanding a bolder, wiser you rooted in faith. This shaking refines your brilliance, preparing you for a destiny that transforms lives. The battle isn't a sign to stop. It confirms you must keep going. The vision you've held is valid. The land you see is your inheritance. I'm not crushing you. I'm stretching you to carry new territory. Fear, doubt, and draining attachments cannot come with you. You're not broken down. You're fortified, not delayed, equipped, not rejected, redirected into my purpose. Every rejection builds endurance to steward my promise. Don't mislabel this warfare as failure. You're dangerously close to your crossover, not stuck, but stretched, not defeated, but developed. The intensity is the final test before your coronation. Take every dart of doubt and turn it into faith. When fear whispers you're not enough, declare you're chosen. When confusion says you're lost, proclaim your steps are ordered. When heaviness presses, know it's forging your purest oil. This isn't the time to shrink or retreat. Plant your feet, raise your head, press forward. You fight not just for yourself, but for every soul your obedience will free. This battle is your birth canal, the shaking your signal, the resistance your validation. Keep stepping. The land, the people, and the heavens await. If you feel this truth, comment 888 below, my chosen one. Breathe in these words deeply. You've carried a fire that puzzled or threatened others. Your passion felt too intense. Your vision too bright for rooms content with shadows. You've held dreams that scared even you, demanding surrender in unseen moments. Through dry seasons, heavy warfare, and prayers that seemed unanswered, you kept showing up. You prayed when hope seemed lost, built altars in silence, stewarded impossible visions. Your favor was hidden beneath quiet obedience and crushing battles. But you didn't give up, like a flame enduring the wind. Your persistence forged a prophetic fire. I'm not moving you to a new address. I'm planting you in a land designed to nurture what I've placed in you. This land won't tolerate your fire. It will fuel it like oxygen to a flame. It won't nod politely at your favor, but respond with open gates and ready soil. It won't watch your future from afar. It's where your future manifests. This land is crafted for your calling. Your anointing won't be stifled. It'll be stretched and celebrated. Your voice won't be hushed. It'll reach hearts destined to hear it, like a bird finding its sky. Your spirit will soar here. You'll no longer feel too much or dim your brilliance to fit in. Your leadership will be welcomed as an answer, not a threat. Your dreams will have room to fly. This is where you'll enlarge, expand, establish new territory. My chosen one. Pause and let these words echo in your spirit. This land isn't something you must beg for or fight to earn. It's yours, not by striving, but because I declared it so. Have you felt the weight of proving yourself, striving to be good enough for tables not meant for you? I've signed your name on this territory in the spirit realm. You don't need to convince anyone it's yours. Just walk into it by faith. My promise is spoken. Your job is to step boldly. You're qualified by the fires you survived, the silent battles you won, the tears you shed unseen. I refined you in seasons that would have broken others. You chose obedience over applause, matured in shadows, carried my secrets when no one understood. Now, I'm not just moving you, I'm revealing you, unveiling the holy, crushed, yet called version of you, saturated with power and wisdom. This is your due time. Like a hidden gem polished in darkness, your gifts are ready to shine. Don't hesitate or second-guess the door I'm opening. Fear of the unknown must not chain you to past struggles. This isn't just a change of scenery. It's a confirmation of your spiritual identity and authority. It's recompense for every tear, sacrifice, and seed sown in pain. You're stepping into what I wrote for you before time began. Not mere territory, but spiritual jurisdiction. No more delay, no more doubting, no more downplaying your anointing. Walk into it. It's yours. Share your testimonies in the comments. Declare your yes publicly. I see breakthroughs, tears of relief, chains falling, doors opening, divine connections awaiting you. Go forth, my chosen one. This is your time, your territory, your fulfillment. Walk boldly into the land that matches your spirit. Creation is ready to receive you. May blessings overflow, favor chase you, and your life reflect my undeniable glory.